Me, no, but I lean in that direction.
Do you are you familiar with tulip? You're probably familiar with it, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Do you affirm tulip, but you're not a Calvinist, or do you just use some of the tulip?
No, I don't. In tulip is I agree with the concept of total depravity. I do, but I do not agree with the unconditional individual election. I believe in what is
Are you
called.
Arminian?
No, I'm neither Calvinist nor an Arminian. Now, Calvinists, depending on what strain of Calvinism they hold to, might conclude that I'm Arminian. But I'm not.
They're
Arminian.
filthy Calvinists. We don't care what they think.
No, I'm not calling anyone filthy Calvinist. I mean, I have a lot of respect and admiration for my.
So, how would you distinguish yourself from an Arminian, if you have enough
time? An Arminian classically would hold that one can apostatize, one can lose your salvation.
Preservation of the saints.
Yeah, and I hold to preservation of the saints. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that my sympathies kind of lie in that direction.
Yeah.
Although
so
I also disagree with limited atonement.
Yeah, I don't agree with limited atonement either. But ultimately, in a sense, where Calvinists are right, on Judgment Day, the atonement will be limited in one sense. Okay, but
it's
another
like offered
sense,
everywhere but accepted.
Right now, the difference is the Calvinists believe that God does not provide prevenient grace for everyone to have the opportunity. What's the other word I'm looking for? The opportunity and the capacity to repent, and I think that is given by God's prevenient grace after the fall. They only believe that God gives irresistible grace to those who He has individually and unconditionally elected.
So, what do you think of, do you think missionary work is unnecessary then, if God provides prevenient grace to everyone? Have a chance?
No. The prevenient. No, God command. It's necessary because God commands. That
so
is
like a manifestation
of
prevenient.
Yeah, this is a part of God's program and plan of salvation, that we are to spread the gospel to all corners of the earth. And I hope maybe that made all the flat earthers feel good.
The four corners of the earth. Okay.
Actually, the earth is a disc, so it's flat, but it doesn't have corners.
The container has corners.
Maybe they believe the earth is a rectangle,
There's four pillars that make up the
foundation. It's amazing to me. I think he was a brilliant theologian. I think some of his ideas are very well thought out, but ultimately he's starting from the same epistemology as atheists. He's starting with certain absolutes. That's not God. And then he reasons to God. Well, what could be more absolute to start in a line of reasoning than the existence of God? What is more absolute and to be regarded as existing non-dependently than God? That was Aquinas' mistake. But even though I think he was wrong on that issue, he still was a very brilliant theologian. I think he was wrong on the nature of salvation, being that he was Catholic.
What do you think about hell is going to be empty because God will reconcile everyone to Himself? Have you ever heard those sorts of ideas before?
Well, there might be some merit, but there's a guaranteed secure place of suffering for Rosie O'Donnell. I mean, come on. All right, I have to go in 2 minutes unless anybody wants to say anything else.
Do you think the end is near?
In terms of human history, yes. In my lifetime, maybe not. But it's not far away in terms of human history. All of the world events are coalescing toward the eschatology that I hold to. one world government, the rise of the Antichrist, things like that.
Great. It's really, really epic, dude.
And personally, I don't believe in God, but once they put chips in our arms to use as credit cards, I'm going to shoot myself.
Well, actually, you do believe in God. The question is, you believe in a God that's deaf, dumb, and blind. Okay?
No. He's saying that he doesn't believe that a God exists.
No, he does believe in God. It's the God that he believes in is deaf, dumb, and blind and doesn't possess the property of personhood. He believes that there's something that's absolute that provides for all dependencies.
He's actually right. No, he's actually right.
Everybody. So it depends on what you want to call God. If you want to call that God must entail a persona, a mind, will, and emotions, then no, he doesn't. But God is that which is divine, which is ultimate, that provides for all states of affairs that are dependent. And so that way everyone has a God concept. It's just that some people's God doesn't possess the properties of, a mind, a will, and emotions.
I'm not going to say that's inaccurate, but I'm not going to tell people that I believe in God because that would be tedious to have to explain to a million people throughout my life. It's just a lot easier to say that I'm an atheist.
Well, when I say God, God is your belief in that which is ultimate, that is has a non-dependent existence, and upon which everything depends. That's what we call the divine. Now, it's most common. The term divine is most commonly associated with additionally having the properties of consciousness and will. But the divine need not entail the properties of consciousness and will. Take, for example, in Buddhism.
So if you're a theistic personalist, do you also hold that we can't attribute properties to God univocally?
Yep.
So is personhood? Are you attributing that to him univocally?
No. It would whatever qualities that we attribute to God, we do so analogically.
Okay, so when we say he has emotions, we don't mean he has emotions like we do. We mean it in this like he has a thing that's like emotion. Right, it's like this analogical notion of
like for example,
and mind and emotion.
Right. So like when we talk about God having knowledge, God's mental state of possessing the truth values of all propositions is not the same way as ours is. So whenever we speak of God, we speak analogically, not univocally. Well, that's another analogical reference.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
so you're
all references to God are going to have to be analogical, because if we actually spoke of God univocally, we would speak of him as he actually is, but that would be impossible since we're not God. Only God can comprehend the magnitude of what he is.
So like theistic non-personalists, like I think Paul Tillich is like God is the ground of being could still possess analogical mind and analogical emotion, right? As long as it wasn't actually emotion.
Well, I'm rusty on my Tillich theology. I understood it years ago, but Tillich, I don't actually not necessarily believe in a personal God.
Yeah. I'm just wondering how the version of personalism that he might reject might lack this like analogical features. Like I wondered if he'd grant that like a non-personal God could still like have analogical properties of person.
Yeah, I mean, even the Supreme Court, I think, referenced Tillich in not the Supreme Court, one of the very high courts, said that, religion, it just entails what is your ultimate concern or that which is ultimate. Mm-hmm. It need not possess the properties of personhood. Anyway, I got to run. It never ceases to amaze me how many trolls show up when I come into a room. It's amazing.